Welcome to Uncle Moe's for family fun. It's good, 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 good.
Sounds good.
Hello and welcome to Uncle Moe's Family Feedbag, where we look through seasons 1 to 12, look through the dizzying highs, the terrifying lows, and the creamy middles of The Simpsons, season 1 to 12, through random episode generation. I'm, of course, joined with my good friend Cal Reader. Cal, how are we doing this time?
I'm doing good, man. I'm good as always. I'm looking forward to just colonising the US with Yorkshire tea and various different things, but that's not for a couple of weeks yet. But cannot wait. What about yourself, dude?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm just, for anyone who doesn't know, I've just pretty much come out of surgery. It's not massive, but it's just
He's now a woman.
No, I've not come to that true identity just yet. No, I just had some.
He's an Apache helicopter.
I've just come out with just a bit of minor nasal surgery in there, just leaking from every sort of nasal orifice. But we're now back. I'm now pretty much back up and running. Just a lot more nasal douching to be done every hour or so. But we'll get there. I'll live on.
I've missed this podcast, man. Like, I've missed doing it. It's been too long. And if if any listeners out there just hear snorting, it's not me. I've not got my shirt on. I've not got my Hawaiian Vice City shirt on. It's Tyler doing rock salt, apparently. But that's what he's told me. I don't know. I've seen no pictures. I've seen all the pictures. Anyway, on with the episode.
Well, I've seen Wiki Medicine. That's the best recommendation. How dare you?
WebMD.
And the episode we're reviewing today is Season 12, Episode 12's Menace, the Menace. Directed by Jem Kamerman, written by Ian Maxstone Grain, with the original air date being February the 11th, 2001. And the couch gag is The Simpsons ice skating towards the couch, and Homer falls through the ice himself. Cal, what are your initial thoughts on this episode? Because I'll tell you what, I've got plenty to say the least.
I'm not a fan of this episode, if I'm honest. It's kind of when The Simpsons started to turn. I always remember this episode, and I remember before obviously when it first got announced that we were doing this episode, I was like, "That's not the one where they go to fucking Wimbledon, is it?" And you're like, "Nope." But they don't go to Wimbledon; they go to like an American Open thing, and it's just, I don't know. It's not quality Simpsons in my opinion. What about yourself?
I mean, you're pretty much preaching to the converted here. You know what? We'll save it for. I'm sure we've got at similar points where the episode goes off or it just completely drops off a cliff. So I'll save my rants for then, and you jump in with whenever you think it's acceptable to completely go ham on this one.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, so we open up with a senior talent competition that the Simpsons go to at the old folks' home here. Got a right good range of jokes here. You've got stand up, you've got a bit of karaoke from Abe, a bit of Tom Jones. He's got to be this age of Abe now, surely.
I think it was the age of Abe when the episode came out.
I'm glad he's embraced his grey now, and he's just like he's your favourite sort of granddad now, saying how he used to just run with Elvis.
And shag every single woman in Europe as well as North America.
Abe ends up winning this talent competition, and he gets a free autopsy. What a prize. I tell you what, Cal, for as much stick as we are going to give this episode, I don't mind the first, say, 4 minutes of this until they get the tennis court. Actually, a little bit after when you've had when you have little interactions with the townsfolk of Springfield, I actually didn't mind bits of this. They're all right.
In an earlier episode, I can't for the life of me remember which one it was, but it was one of the later episodes when basically it was one of the first times where it starts out in this one little bit of a joke and then completely swing balls, and the end of the episode has nothing to do with what the episode began with. And I think I agree with you. I think the first half of this episode, strong fucking episode, really good. Like, I like it when they have the old timers and episode, in it kind of thing. But it's just, I don't know. I'd like the free autopsy bit, and they're going for his funeral and his casket, and he's like, "How much do you live in?" And we'll see how the walls go and stuff like that. Hilarious, really funny jokes.
Yeah, him shaking his fist at the walls, like, I'm not dead yet, and they have a little whine. Yeah, good stuff. Solid jokes.
But it's just, like, I rewatched the episode, which we'll probably end up getting to, the Tamsin Argarian episode where Seymour's not actually Seymour. That's an episode where we'll talk about it more hopefully when it eventually comes. But because that was the first episode, what Matt Groening says it's, it killed the Simpsons a little bit, and he hates that episode kind of thing. But there's a really funny joke in it where they're driving to Capital City to get Seymour back, and Homer's just like, so run it by me again. He's just like, we're gonna go get Seymour back. He's like, okay, so why is Mrs. Crabapple here? Because she needs to get him back. Well, why are the kids here? He's like, because nobody could watch the kids. He's like, well, why am I here? He's like, because there's no place for young ladies to be by themselves. I'm messing the joke up, and he goes, well, why is Grandpa here? He goes, because Jasper didn't want to go by himself. I was like, okay.
He pops his little head up as well. Yeah, it's cute.
That's just really funny because it's so stupid, but there's not much in this episode like that.
Well, with that episode as well, it's a good story. It's just the backlash and, how the episode is going to reset. Everything will go back to normal. But with this, it's just, I don't know, boring, bland, nonsensical. It's just, which is one of the big problems with sort of the Scully years, which is, I don't know, what do you want to say, late 99 to 2002 and a bit onwards. It always seems to be first act is unrelated to the rest of the story, and then it finishes with a wild flourish of action, and then they try and justify it at the end. That is rinse and repeat for, say, season 11 to 12.
And it's just, I don't know, like, I'm not one of those purists who kind of say I only like the first 12 seasons of the series. I don't go any further than that, like season 12 episode 4 or whatever. Like some of the new episodes are quite good. I still watch new episodes, not as kind of great, but you get the full, a few humdingers in there. But this episode kind of, even if this episode came out like now, it's a crap episode. Oh, I don't know.
We get through all these sort of morbid gags and coughing gags to get to, well, what is the main plot line, where he says, "Oh, with all that money we're spending on you, Gramps, we can just afford to get a tennis court." And then boom, cuts them with a tennis court, and the cheek of it, the fact that you spell out and say, "Oh, boom, bet you didn't see that coming."
Oh, I can't believe we went through all that just to wind up with a tennis court.
I bet you didn't see that coming. Yeah, it'd be nice to entertain friends and have people over.
Hey, you got a tennis court?
Keep walking, Flanders.
Will do.
Faster.
It's just the fact.
It's a big screw you is what it is. It's just a twist for a twist's sake, which you shouldn't do.
It's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's like building a massive spy thriller the entire time, and then about halfway through the act, they kind of go, actually, it's going to be an animated film now. Or, no, it's going to, rather than a spy thriller where it's like, who killed who did it? It's like, actually, we're going to go make a factory and build chocolate. We're going to make Willy Wonka. Why? What's that got to do with anything? You've never referenced that you liked tennis before. Like, I guess they've already done the pool storyline and stuff like that, so they're like, nah, fuck it, tennis.
Max Stone just had it in his head that, the family dynamic, and tennis, that'll create some lunacy, that'll be quite fun. Well, I know Mike Scully doing a bit of Reddit research and what have you. The showrunner of these later series, Mike Scully's quoted saying that, it was probably too long to wait before getting the story started with the initial first bit. Well, why didn't he consult, Graham in the first place? Why didn't he consult in the writer's room rather than, afterwards in an interview many years later? Why didn't they nip this in the bud? Because obviously it goes through rewrites. It's a whole team of writers. Was it laziness or brain drain where they're going through a creative lull, maybe, to let this pass? The Simpsons end up getting a tennis court, and they actually start to build up and train and play, and this catches wind in Springfield, and you get, again, one of the few positives from this episode. You get a mix of the other people of Springfield and their characters reacting to this tennis court and having a little play, and it was interesting just to see, Lenny and Carl. Again, it's character-based humor. It works.
Do you ever think what pisses me off about this episode, right, is, okay, so the whole premise, like you said, so far, and bear in mind, we're not even 10 minutes into this episode at this point, and the original premise, to go to the retirement home, Abe gets free autopsy, so it's just the autopsy,
Yeah.
and then they're looking at getting the full package, so they go and, like, pick out his coffin and stuff like that, but end of the day, they're gonna still spend that money. That ticket was only for the free autopsy, and like, I work in bereavement, I know how shit works. They're expensive. I don't know how much a fucking tennis court would be. Never mind destroying it, dismantling it, and putting it in the fucking loft or whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't like.
I just thought, where is Homer getting this money as well? In early seasons, the Simpsons have been strapped for cash, and that's been a good plot line throughout some good episodes and that. But I feel like in later seasons, it's just whatever they need to do it. It doesn't matter what Homer's financial situation it is, just to get to the point, to get to the plot.
I'm gonna Google how much it would cost to build a tennis court. So the average cost to build a residential tennis court from start to finish, including dirt work, post-tension, slab, fencing, lighting, surfaces, accessories, is about $65,000. However, price can easily range between $50,000 and $80,000 depending on options. Now, your average funeral is about £10,000.
See, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
We're ripping this shit. I know it's just the basic premise to just say, oh look, some people with Sienna Williams and Venus Flytrap, or whatever the fucking name is. I hate this episode so much.
Yeah, I try not to be negative because too many people do that with episodes, but it had it coming, Howdy, this is just a reminder that if you're enjoying the content so far, loving our podcast, loving the episode, go over to facebook.com and search for Uncle Mo's Family Feedbag, a British podcast, and give us a like there. We'll update you on all of our exclusive content and posts as well. Also, if you're in the mood for a bit more Simpsons and more Simpsons podcasts, go over and check out the 411 folks on Facebook and SoundCloud as well. They do lots of great impressions, great analysis of the episodes, and it's generally a good time. And now back with your regularly scheduled listening. The word gets around they have a tennis court. You get multiple people playing on the court as well, including Kent Brockman with Stacy, the weather lady. And how does he come up with those zingers? He has his own truck. He has his own earpiece in. I guess you could say he's Iraqi. That joke doesn't even age well now. I just realised. Marge's developing a real talent for tennis, whereas Homer keeps goofing around. Alright, slight confession, Cal. I have stupidly done what Homer did with the, this one's in the sack.
Hey, Homer, here's a bloopy for you.
I've got it. It's in the bag. Oh!
Because I thought, this actually won't hurt. What year would have been? Not even like when I was, say, in primary school. This had to have been year 8 or year 9. And I caught it right. It wasn't even on the sack. It was right on the bell end. It was, if it was the same reaction, but it's horrible. I don't know what came over me. I just thought, this will be fun. Maybe I'll just try and quickly whip around and pocket it. But no, I don't know what I was fucking thinking. Virginity will do a lot to that. I want the attention, honestly. Awful.
See, that little bit, it kind of sums up our podcast. I'm Homer, doing the fucking stupid shit to get distractions and the laughs, and you're the guys just for fuck's sake, let's just do the podcast. Shit up. But there's a podcast called The Weekly Planet where I listen to. It's really cool. It's a couple of Australian guys who do comic book and film things. And one of the jokes, I can't remember how to get onto it, but they say with Thanos at the end of Infinity War, they should have just kicked him in the nuts, because when you get kicked in the nuts or get hit in the nuts, nothing else matters. The world, nothing makes sense anymore. It's true.
Your life force depletes in front of your eyes.
You're just where the fuck am I? I'm back to normal. What the fuck?
Homer decides, he sees a little leaflet there, and it's for the Krusty Charity Classic, and he wants to train up for it. He wants Marge as, his rally partner, as his teammate. But Marge has got second ideas. She's been secretly training with Bart, and oh, God, another weird bit. Why do they go into a Oedipus angle here?
Darling, you're so much handsomer than my first husband.
I may have the looks, but he's the trophy husband.
Back to the Future did it really well. Marty McFly goes back. His mother's got the hots for him, but he's completely grossed out, and there's a clear line, and there's comedy from the awkwardness of that. This is just odd. I don't know, Cal.
So, do you want to just explain the story of Oedipus, or what his name is?
Oedipus, I believe it's a Greek story. Basically, it was I don't know if Oedipus was the son or the father, but it's the theory that all young men want to kill their father and marry their mother.
Oh, that's more on what fucking
Freud was
it? Freud, yeah. He says everyone wants to shag their mother at the end of the day, which isn't true at all. But that story basically says he kills his dad. It's basically Hamlet, more or less. But rather than the brother, he kills his the brother kills his brother. He kills his dad and marries his mum. And they kind of reference it a little bit in the episode as well. But it's just kind of.
But there's no need for it, is there? Really?
No.
It's just an awkward 2-3 minutes of Bart cuckolding his dad, which I thought I'd never say.
See, I watched a film from 2008, and he was just like, nobody uses this word anymore. With Steve Carell, whose name in the film was called Stupid Crazy Love or something like that. And the Steve Carell's character is actually called Cal Weaver, which is obviously very, very similar to my name. And he goes, you know what I am? Because his wife cheats on him. He goes, you know what I am? It's a word what nobody uses anymore. I'm a cuckold. I got cooked by my wife.
Homer, to spite Bart and Marge, gets Lisa in on the act. I shouldn't say on the act. Jesus, after what we just spoke about. He gets Lisa as his partner, his doubles tennis partner. There, clean that up. Jesus, this fucking episode, Cal. He gets some training alongside him, and they eventually meet. And it just zips by. None of this matters, Cal. They just zip by. We get to the tennis tournament now, and there's some poor jokes about, oh, you're so bad at tennis, X, Y, Z. It's just poor. Right, yeah. I don't know, Cal. I'm losing the will now. Can you actually remember any jokes post the Oedipus bit and before we get to the obligatory celebrity cameos?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Chief Wiggum and what's his name? Carl Lenny. No, Lou come to the door and says, "What's happened now?" And he goes, "Oh well, we've got a disturbance in your area. We just need to check it out." He goes, "Do you boys want to play tennis?" And it zooms out, and they've just got the tennis shorts, and in the holsters they've got the tennis rackets. And then they unzip the thing. He goes, "Oh, can we?" And go over. I found that quite funny because Chief Wiggum's my favourite.
That was great. That was fine because it's just two. It's like two excited kids who have already changed into their swimming trunks, wanting to go to the rich kids' pool. That was great, and even the little "Follow me, Lou," mimicking his little hum. That was great. Yeah, you're right. That's the second most memorable bit about this.
Which you can remember.
Yeah, shows you. They're at the Krusty Charity Classic, and Krusty does some of his awful material. Doesn't save his good work for charity. I like that line. That's good.
That line is good as well.
And they begin to start the match, but they take a little intermission. And Homer actually wants to win, so he brings in one of the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena. And this is where, again, it just sort of goes to pot, really. This is the later season thing of just bringing in obligatory celebrities to play themselves. Not even weird characters like we reviewed Krusty Gets Cancelled. And, John... what's his name? The Tonight Show host, Johnny, what's his name? Johnny Carson, thank you. He's this perfect man who can juggle cars and sing Italian opera. What are the Williams sisters doing? What's Agassi doing? They're just themselves. There's nothing dynamic.
It's just, there's nothing... just sums this episode up. Ugh. It's like you said, like the thing is, because Krusty gets cancelled, it's one of the first episodes, if not the first episode. So I know it's the first main episode where there's a lot of cameos and stuff, but they organically weave it into the plot. Like Krusty's a star of TV. He's been around for Christ knows how many decades. It's a given that he's supposed to be, he's going to have these celebrities, which obviously 9 times out of 10, like Johnny Carson, we don't really know him over here, really. Bette Midler, I guess, but like Luke Perry, big star in the 90s, nobody really knows him anymore. But it still works because it's funny. It's funny and it works with the story. Fucking Venus Flytrap and Pluto and fucking Pete Sampras. I don't even know who that is. And Andre Agassi I knew, but Pete Sampras, not a pickle. No idea. I don't know.
He is actually, I did do a bit of research. He's one of the former biggest names in tennis. He's one of the most successful. But who would have known that from his portrayal in here? Also, I'm reading the Wikipedia here, and like Max Holmgren directed him. He said, "Oh, he gave a natural performance." Bollocks.
Yo, Pete Sampras, get over here.
Yes, I'm in. Come on, let's play. I've got to tape a Ho-Ho's commercial.
Sorry, did you hear the same thing I did? Let's go. I've got a Ho-Ho's commercial to shoot. So flat, man. Come on. Basically, it's an all-star celebrity tennis match in the end. The family is sitting by the side, and Homer nicks some of Pete Sampras's fucking commercial money. And that's how the episode ends, folks. Very flat.
So what would you rate this episode then?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I was going to sort of bring this out more and talk about the ending, but okay. I'm not bothered anymore. I would give it... being generous... Being generous, I'd give it 1 tennis ball to the balls out of 5. Promising 4-minute start. The first 4 minutes promising, as we've said before. How about you, Cal? What's your... Dare I ask what your unique system is for this one?
I'm going to give it... something. I'm going to give it a 10. A strong 10.
Really?
Yeah, a strong 10. Autopsy certificates. Free autopsy vouchers out of about 1,000. Say there's a massive disaster and 1,000 people need autopsy.
I was going to say, even if you put this in at 10 out of 20, I was going to sweat it. You troll. Okay, that's very fair. That's a very fair rating there. All right, I don't think we can get to the random episode generator quick enough, so let's give that a yank and get this out of our misery. Whatever we review next, I'm sure it will be 10 times better in comparison, so let's give it a look. And the episode we'll be reviewing next time is Season 4's Duffless. Alright, thankfully this is the end now, folks. If you want to help support the show, you can by liking the Facebook page. That's Uncle Mo's Family Feedbag Podcast, a British Simpsons podcast. That's Uncle Mo's Family Feedbag on Facebook. And on the SoundCloud is now under the same name, Uncle Mo's Family Feedbag. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Come to Uncle Mo's for family fun. It's good, 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 good.
Sounds good.